Hi, I'm Albert Bowkett from Perfinal Core Banking, and this is clip 7 in my series of Core Banking Essential FAQs. Today's frequently asked question: how is core banking changing? In my previous clip, I discussed some of the limitations that core banking had from the beginning, and some of the additional problems that core banking accumulated along the way. To summarize, original core banking mainframes provided a basic level of networking and automation with some major caveats. Number 1, the mainframes were on-premise and resistant to change. Number 2, automation only covered specific parts of specific processes. In other words, it left a lot of stuff out. Essential components of core banking that were left out included legal and business classifications, which were absent entirely. Number 3, these omissions precluded the possibility of real-time operation at the back end, but the illusion of real-time operation at the front end was achieved through various workarounds. Number 4, unfortunately, these workarounds ultimately increased system instability and technical debt over time. This has led to a new generation of core banking technology aimed at making a clean break with the legacy systems and problems of the past. Well, sort of. It's not so much that all stakeholders agree that the mainframe has to go, it's rather that most now agree that any new core banking platform should be introduced in parallel to the existing core banking platform, or as a greenfield project, rather than as an awkward appendage to the legacy mainframe system. New financial players have been experimenting with new core banking platforms for a few years already, but larger financial institutions finally crossed the Rubicon in 2021, typically with greenfield projects using new core banking for entirely new projects, for example, a brand new digital bank. In place of the old on-premise mainframe, new core banking is cloud native. This essentially solves the major legacy networking limitations of cost inefficiency and inflexibility by outsourcing server space, enabling super flexible scalability, as much or as little as required at any time. Instead of the old black box monolithic design, new core banking uses microservice architecture. This means that rather than one big app which needs to be fully redeployed with any minor change, you instead have a suite of independent services which are maintained and developed independently of one another. That means you don't need to redeploy the whole system, and you can carry out maintenance in one quarantined microservice area while the rest of the system continues to run live and unaffected. It also means you can add new services relatively easily. Now, I say relatively easily because, as you might imagine, introducing such a fundamental and long overdue overhaul of the banking software that powers all of the back-end processes of modern banking is going to be a process rather than an event. Not all of those conundrums are going to be solved in one go. It's like switching over from internal combustion engine to electric vehicle. The push factors are there, the pull factors are there, the technology is there, but the implementation is itself a learning and development process that requires new resources and does throw up questions along the way. And that's before you even consider the fact that the technology and the market is continuing in parallel to change the landscape all the time. In my next clip in this series of Core Banking Essential FAQs, I'm going to look more specifically at some of the legacy problems that core banking still even now needs to solve in order to fully embrace a digital, automated future.